What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over the specs of this thing and kind of give you guys my first kind of impression and overall opinion. I did a video on how to custom order. I actually custom this color out. I'll leave a link to that so you can go check out how you can order one of these. And so what is the Wizard? What Piranha's done, they've made a limited edition custom kayak that's wave specific. So it's not to be confused with the Ozone, it's not to be confused with the InaZone, and not even to be confused with the Storm. Those are all their kayaks in themselves. Before I get ahead of myself, I'll go ahead and start going through all the specs of this thing. Then I'll kind of break down what it's been like paddling it and just my overall kind of thoughts of being out on the water in this thing. I let a couple other people try this boat out. So far, everybody that's tried it out, you know, spoiler alert, everybody's liked the Wizard. Okay, so rocker height, I measured this rocker height. Tail was about 6.5, a little under 7 inches as far as height from there to there. And then rocker height on the bow was around about maybe 11 to 12 from here to here. So let's say 11.5 and 6.5 between the bow and stern. The width of it in its widest point is 25.5 inches. The length of this thing is 6 foot 9 inches, so a little under 7 foot as far as that. So it is not, I wouldn't consider this a spud boat, which I will get into that. This is a one size fits all. There's no small, medium, large. What you get here is a medium, and trust me, it is a small medium or true medium, what I would call a true medium. The volume on this thing is 62 US gallons, which is what, 235 liters, and the weight is 37 pounds. Weight ranges maybe 125 to 200 pounds. If they've got under 200 pounds and you'll be fine on this thing, I think that's fair. 200 would be pushing it. I think the prime weight spot for this thing's about 165 to 180, and you'll really throw this thing down and really make it perform. But if you're down to like 115, I think you'll be fine in this boat. Okay, so there's my kind of quick rundown of the specs. Let me just show you guys the overall look of the boat. Wizard logo looks nice. This is a nice multicolor logo. They did a good job on that logo. It looks good. Piranha handles are always some of the best out there. I really like it. It's all textured right here. They put almost all their boats going forward have had this kind of little cutout right here for getting in and out of the boats. You can put your hand right there and it just adds a little more grip. I like that they're doing that again. It looks kind of cool there. The cockpit on this thing is a smaller cockpit. I think I seen where it was like it's like 2 to 3 inches smaller this away, not this away. They're still 20 inches this away. So keep that in mind. I use that XL skirt on almost all my boats, but it feels a little small on this one where I think I need to go with a smaller skirt. I feel like it might pop off if I get a little too aggressive, and maybe if I start getting worked in a hole or something, I think my skirt might come off. So be mindful of your skirt right there. Another aluminum handle right here in the front, Piranha logo there. You can see the overall shape of this bow. It's kind of tapered. It's got a lot of volume here, and it just tapers down there, and it comes down to more like a curve. There's the overall shape of the entire deck area right there. Now let me get into this outfitting. Back band's the same, hip pad, seat pad is all the same. The track is different. So back here, look how wide the track is right there. You've got a wider track there. There's 6 holes adjustment right here. You can see where I've been running it at. I seem like that seems about, that feels pretty good for me for getting up on this bow. And the overall seat pan, I think, is maybe the same seat pan. It doesn't have a step out pillar. It's got a foam pillar with a cutout right here. This right here is their normal kind of hookers right here. And there is a plate here to here. And you're wondering what's under these things. It's just basically a capture. It's like a little nut capture right there. Right here is a padded for your shoulders. Same cleats right here. Nothing's changed on those. Those work fine. Check out how they did the foot foam. So this, it does not have a bulkhead. It has this kind of foam. Let me see if I can get it out of here. Right here is your foot foam. They put adjustments right here where you would cut it, and it's kind of like a little, maybe like a little puzzle piece. It's going to go down in there like that. You would glue this together, I would think. And then just one big kind of bungee right there that seems to work. You can put a water bottle, you can put a throw rope or whatever. I just usually cram my sponge up in there. But there's the overall look of the outfitting and the deck. Let me roll it over and go over the hull of this thing because I want to show you what they've done on these edges. You can see the bow is like nice and flat right here. By the way, I can cartwheel this, so we'll get into that here in a minute. And it's very boxy right here on this sidewall edge right here. That's kind of like a wave deflector on the back edge, and then it just fades out right there. So then you can see how the edge runs all the way up into the bow, and then the wave deflector is right there. And they're not very aggressive. Those are very small, just a few mil as far as like width on there. And then it's got a drop right here. And unlike what the Storm does, which drops down, then drops, and then flattens out, this just kind of like has almost no drop right here. It's like very flat and planing and just goes straight out. And then it's a little bit curved. It's not got like a sharp edge. It's kind of rounded off, which surprises me kind of because of the fact that how nicely this thing releases and spins. It's got a very like easy going edge on it. Well, it's not super aggressive, but it is very boxy right here. It has a slight taper. You can see how it's kind of worn right there. It has a taper that runs from here to here, and then it goes here, and then it drops to there. You guys see that? Let me go through the hull very slowly so you can kind of see that edge going down through there. The bow rocker starts about right here, and it's just kind of like a slope going like that right there. Not super aggressive bow rocker, but it's not overly bow rockered, but it's not underly bow rocker. Underly bow rocker is even a word. But I like this hull. I think this is something kind of different. Now let's just get into the boat. What my opinion of the boat is. If I had to compare it to something, I don't know if you guys have seen the old Wave Sport ZG. I paddled one of those years ago. It kind of reminds me of that category, the Wave Sport ZG or maybe Project X, where you've got something that's good for downriver kind of playfulness, and it's good on a wave, but it's not a spud boat. Piranha's found a little small niche market right there, somewhere between the Storm and the Ozone and the Loki, maybe all of them mixed in there. And this is where that's at. It's in a little small spot right there, and it seems to fit that very well. So paddling it. So I've been using this thing over the past few weeks here, and I've been paddling the Storm a lot more than I paddled this thing, but I really liked this thing. Every time I paddle it, I come out, I just smiling because it's so fun. It can stern stall, it can bow stall, you can loop it. I've thrown some loops in this thing, actually a pretty massive loop. When it's on a wave though, that's where you really start feeling it. It doesn't carve a wave up. What it does, it has great bounces. So if you're into getting bounces, I don't do a lot of, we don't have here down in the Southeast, we don't have a lot of huge waves unless you go on down to like Columbus or whatever, which I mean, that's a long drive for me. And I will try to get it down there, but the waves I've had it on, so don't think that you need a massive wave to get this going. I've taken it to just little small waves. It is a blast to have this thing on a small wave. It spins very clean. It can come off, and it seems to want to blunt. So one of its, to me, one of my favorite moves in this boat is doing a blunt with this thing. When I throw a blunt with it, it just makes me giggle because it's so fun to throw a blunt. I let my buddy Jamie paddle it, and he was throwing down some cartwheels in this thing. It is a true play boat, but not in the realm of a spud boat. So it's not to be in that realm of a spud boat. It seems to find that happy medium, not going full on spud, everybody, that has a little more kind of like speed on a wave for getting up faster. This is probably what that's going to fall into. Or if you've never been like me, you're just kind of not a big fan of those little spud boats, but you also want something a little shorter and a little more playful. This would probably be the route for you also, to find something to hit that happy medium. This right here for me would be more of a park and play type boat. If you live close to a wave and you want a boat that you can just dedicate for that, the good thing about being on waves too, you don't wear your kayaks out. You can just stay out there. You can have a wave boat for the rest of your life. I mean, how many rocks are you going to hit outside just sliding in and out of the river? The cartwheeling's different. It seems that it goes down, the bow goes down fast for me, then this little chubby little stern right here will hit and sometimes shoot you back up and let you load the bow again. I should have a Wizard versus Storm video up now, let you guys see the difference between the Wizard and Storm, because they are drastically different. It took me a minute when I would paddle the Wizard and I'd jump back in the Storm. It'd take me a minute to readjust. But yeah, I will leave links below where you could pick up the Wizard and any other gear that I use in a lot of my videos. And if you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments and I'll do my best to try to answer them for you. So yeah, there it is, everybody. That's my little kind of quick first impressions of the Wizard. See y'all on the river.